Hi everyone, welcome or welcome back. If you're a regular, I'm Scott. My pronouns are he/him, and this is Story Talk, and we are doing the second part of our first two-part episode, Cosplay 101. First episode is up on YouTube now, and that one's on costuming. This one is on hair and makeup. I figured there's enough complexity here that we should probably dive into each one separately and give them both a little bit of their own time and excess. I hope there's a lot of excess in this episode. You can check out all of our D&D and our Cypher supplements on DriveThruRPG. We have a new one that is coming out in about a week or two. I'm getting some last-minute art done for it. That'll be a Cypher piece. You can use the clip command, that's !clip, to save any clip that you want. I think it saves the last 30 seconds of an answer. You can save 12% on our Only Crits dice that we're an affiliate with. We love their dice. They're amazing. For my YouTube viewers, please like, subscribe, and we love all the comments. We'll reply to all the good ones. If you have a question, drop it in with the word question before it, just to make it a little bit easier. It really does help me find them as we go. And I have about 1 million questions to start us anyway. And I'm going to let everyone come on now, and we can say who everyone is. They can tell you where you can find them, and we can get this thing a-moving. So you may know all of these here because they are alumni of the show, and 2 of them were on our show last week. Shannon is new to this group, but Shannon is amazing at all of this. I could have had her on last week also. But we're going to start with Haley, and we're going to go clockwise from there, I think, just to do it in a different way.
Hi, I'm Haley. I am at Haley Son of Ander and all of the socials. My pronouns are she, her, and I specialize in kids cosplay.
That was so fast I didn't get a drink in.
You can take a drink, that's fine.
Asteria.
I'm Warden Asteria or Asteria. My pronouns are they, them. I'm Warden Asteria on Instagram and Twitter, yes. And I do tabletop stuff and cosplay stuff, and I'm your resident vampire for the evening.
Nice. And Shannon.
Hello, everybody. I'm Shannon. My pronouns are she, her. I am vastly underdressed for this occasion, but I do have some experience experimenting with hair and makeup and cosplay in general. My nerd home is Paradise Productions, where I currently play my Chaos Pirate Saskia. My beloved characters from our first campaign. Her name is Scarlet, R.I.P. And I've cosplayed her in the past. And I just love her to pieces. I love Saskia too. But you can find me at SRB25 on all the socials.
Very nice. So I have about 1 million questions, but if you have a question, drop it in chat. We'll get to those. They'll take priority for the most part. But I'm going to start with the easy questions because I always want to talk about just cosplay in general. So what was what you would consider your first real cosplay? Not just throwing on a hat like this, but like doing a cosplay. Anybody can go in any order.
My first full bore cosplay where I did makeup and a wig and a costume would be Jester. Was the first one that I did. That was everything together. Before that, it was all pieces here and pieces there, or I'd do the sewing. But the first time I really ventured into face paint and makeup and wigs was Jester.
Mine was also a Critical Role character. It was Vexalia.
Yay!
But I just did hair, a wig, and makeup for that, and just did whatever I had in my closet for a costume, and just did pictures from neck up. But I had done a bunch of Disney princesses before then for events. But Vex was the first one that I did. I'm pretty sure it was Vex was the first one I did. It was no, I'm gonna cosplay. I'm gonna try it and I'm gonna do it. And I did it, and I got the bug.
Nice.
First one I think I would count was in 2016. I did a cosplay group of Dragon Age, but we were all like bunnies because the con was falling on Easter, so we were all like Playboy bunny style versions, and so I did Zevran, and that was the first cosplay that I ever fully sewed, did a wig, did makeup, and that was actually, I made that costume like listening to Campaign 1, and then that got me into Campaign 1 cosplay, and then everything just snowballed from there.
When you started out, did somebody mentor you or coax you, maybe, whatever it takes to get you to do it first?
No, I mean, for me, I guess it was my kids wanting to go as characters. And so so just to clarify, my children do not watch Critical Role. It is not age appropriate for them. But they saw some like animated little shorts that people had made online, and they thought my daughter thought Not was absolutely hysterical and would just watch these shorts over and over and just giggle nonstop. And so she wanted to be painted green and go as a goblin. And so I just said, okay. So we did the whole thing. So it was really her pushing for it that kind of got us to take the next step from just costumes to more cosplay.
So an instigator for you.
Yes, for real. Yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing. I too did not really have somebody push me into it. I like to tell people that I never grew out of playing dress up when I was younger. And I've just always had a love for costumes and characters and becoming the person that you play in theater and the whole thing. So it's just like, I'm going to do it. I want to wear pretty costumes and I want to look really cool when I do it. So I just decided to do it.
My best friends in high school sort of got me into it. And then one of those friends' moms is a quilter and did sewing classes. So I actually learned how to sew from her. So it was a very like, what's the word? I don't know if insular is the correct word, but it started.
Holistic?
Yeah, it started with a couple people, and then like we kept cosplaying together for all time, it seems.
I love that. That's adorable.
Yeah, cosplay friends for life, for sure. So I'm going to start with the first makeup question. And I think I have more questions about makeup than hair, but we'll see what happens with that. And this has got to be, when anybody's starting, has to be the first thing they wonder. Is there a difference between cosplay makeup and what you get at, say, Sephora?
Depends on what you want to do.
Depends.
Yeah, it can depend. So you have your costumes that are like real people's faces, maybe anime characters, that kind of thing, that you can very easily use normal foundation, normal materials for. And then you have characters that have inhuman skin tones and that kind of thing that require more specialized foundations and makeups and that kind of thing.
Does anybody want to add to that, or is there anything
Yeah,
to add to
I
that?
will.
Okay.
Going on to that, base makeups are fine, but a lot of what you have to worry about in the difference between like daily wear and cosplay is kind of the wear and tear that you're going to be going throughout the day. You're going to be like sweating a lot more, taking a lot more photos and things like that. So you're looking, the base is really important, of like the layers of how you get your base layer on, and then like the setting of the makeup is important to get it to stay throughout the day and be able to just be and not have to worry about it.
Yeah, that's definitely something I'm still working on, is making it stay through a day of a convention. But a lot of the stuff that I've bought was at like a CVS or a Walgreens or sometimes Sephora if I wanted to be fancy. But Yeah, the only time I've used like heavy duty stuff is if the skin tone's a different color.
When you got your makeup and you applied it, have you ever gotten to a show or something and realized you were having an allergic reaction to one of your makeups? And if so,
Not yet.
what do you do in a case like that? Because I imagine
I have.
it doesn't
Yeah.
always
Oh, no.
happen right away.
Oh no.
Yeah. My skin. I have a very strange allergy. I'm allergic to vinegar. And something about the enzyme in vinegar, which tends
Wow.
to like pop up in random places, and I will break out in hives. So because of that, and I hope if you have a sensitive skin, you should be prepared to like bring things like a Benadryl or a allergy med or something that can help take that inflammation down medically, because it's usually not. I mean, you'll have to take it off right away, and just go without. But yeah, I have had that happen. Not from colored, but just like base, like regular grocery store makeup is when I've had a reaction from.
That stinks.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't happen very often, but like, I can walk into a room and if they've just cleaned it with vinegar, I'll break out in hives.
Really? Oh,
yeah,
boy.
all down my arms.
I could never cook for you. I
Very
use vinegar and
strange.
everything.
But I'm very used to it. It's when you have an allergy like that, it's just something you get used to and you prepare
Figure
for.
it out.
But if somebody has like, sorry, I didn't mean to hit my mic. Somebody who has like super sensitive skin, and does have an issue with like fragrances or things like that, it would be good to make sure that you have some sort of like standard makeup bag backup with you, so that you can take off whatever you have on and put on your normal makeup and just go without.
And test it before you go and
Yes.
see
Yes.
a cost test or a makeup test.
Yes.
Just to see if there's any reactions. I fortunately have not had a reaction to any of the makeup, but my eyes do get irritated towards the end with like the lash glue, and like just if I have a heavy amount of eyeliner or eyeshadow on, my eyes will get a little irritated. So I always make sure that like I have I like to use micellar water, I think that's how you pronounce it, to take off my eye makeup, and I'll use that and then rinse it really well with water, and that helps.
And Asteria, have you had allergic reactions to makeups? Anything like that?
Fortunately, I don't think I have. If I have, I think I've just powered through it, which is not advisable.
Terrible advice. Don't do that.
None come to mind. I feel like a long time ago, I saw a website where you can look up the ingredients of makeup.
Oh,
I just
wow.
can't bring it to mind, but I'm sure that's out there. If it's not, someone will make it at some point. But I think I remember seeing that somewhere where you can type in a makeup product and it will tell you common allergens in it.
That's cool.
So if you're concerned about that, I would definitely look that up. But luckily, so far, haven't really had any issues.
Nice. Have you done cosplays? I'm going to list a few things, and maybe there's others you can list also. TTRPG characters, superheroes,
We're all nodding.
anime.
Yes.
I have. Yes.
Don't think I have.
Yeah, we've done one, and we've done Pokemon and other anime.
Historical.
I
Disney
have. I have done historical in theater, but not as cosplay. So
Okay.
when I was in the theater program, I was a wigger for
Cool.
a year, and mainly wig attachment and putting them on, not doing wig design specifically, but putting them on people's heads so they didn't fall off. But I did a lot of historical sewing there.
Horror and monster movie things like
I haven't done that.
No, I haven't.
Haley.
But
Your
it
kids
looks
haven't
vampires
asked to be
count.
a werewolf yet or anything. I can't believe that. I have to talk to them.
I mean, when you get into like horror makeup, there's a lot of like latex and things you can do with like glue and tissue paper and stuff to
Yep.
make like wounds and
Yeah.
things.
I've done that.
That's
I've done
cheap.
wounds.
Yeah.
Before.
Yeah.
And easy, but they can look really cool without a lot of effort in terms of makeup.
So you've done most of these. Is there an area where you haven't yet done, but you want to try?
I haven't done prosthetics. So like a lot of the like
Yeah.
noses or chins or cheeks. I haven't done any prosthetics before.
I haven't done a ton of different color like face paint. Like I haven't done Jester. I've done Scarlet once. Her skin tone's gray, so I did that. And I've done Laudna, and her skin's white, like very, very, very like pale. So I've done that, but I haven't done like the full Jester or Ford or anything like that. So I think someday that would be really fun to do.
It's a learning curve,
I bet.
but it is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't done prosthetics, and I haven't done more like historical makeup or costuming yet. So I think those are on the horizon for me.
So anticipating this, what do you think you would, since it's new to you and you would be a newbie at it, what do you think you would need to do makeup and hair wise to prepare for something like that? Because it's out of your wheelhouse. You don't necessarily have everything you need. You're almost starting from scratch for the first time in a while for all of you.
The main one that I'd like to try that I haven't done is crossplay. So I haven't done a masculine makeup and contouring on a feminine face before. And I know that but the first place I would go to is TikTok. There are a lot of contouring makeup tutorials on TikTok, and they kind of like go through. There's even some filters that you can put on your face to figure out where you want the lines to go.
That's cool.
Yeah, you can look up on TikTok, and there's filters, so you don't have to like post a video, but you can go to like record a video, and it'll put the filter on your face, and then you kind of you look at the camera and you draw where your contour lines need to be.
That's really cool.
And because it like overlays it onto your face in the
It's
camera.
like a stencil.
Exactly. So you can kind of learn how that contouring will look on you. And the main thing would be I would do that first, try out with the makeup that I have, and do probably several makeup tests to like figure out what color contours I need and how I need to contour.
Yeah. That's my first step too, would be the research, and that's such a cool tip. I'm definitely going to try that. I also, if I'm doing a specific person, I will go and like look at what other people have done, and just Google images. Like for Vex, I just Googled like Vex cosplay and looked for ones that were close up, and so I could get a good look at like the eyeshadow and all of that. And then it's just a free play and just try and figure it out. But yeah, definitely looking at what other people have done is my first step.
Definitely a lot of try again. Try it 1,000 times before it's actually time to debut it at a con or whatever. Definitely going on TikTok or YouTube for those tutorials. And also just like going on forums where, especially for things like prosthetics, where like there are forums or historical stuff where there's forums of people who are way more knowledgeable of like, you can apply it this way or you can apply it this way. This glue might react this way, where it gets like really like nitty gritty. I would also recommend that.
Nice. So when you're deciding on what to do about hair, my assumption is you look at your own hair first and see if that is going to work. If it is going to work, how far will you go with changing your hair for a cosplay?
I used to have longer hair. I have a pixie cut now. You can't really tell because it's up. So you have a lot of wigs. But when my hair was longer, I have gotten like colored hairspray, and done that. I did that for Miss Frizzle once. That was a lot of fun. But I personally prefer wearing a wig. I think it's less effort, and maybe I'm just not using wigs right for it to be less effort than hairspray. But it's less of a mess for me personally. Although I am looking into, I have a costume for Vi from Arcane, and she's got that short pink hair, so I have thought about getting like a pink gel and the spray and trying to style my own hair first. I have a wig just in case, but I'm toying with the idea of maybe using my own hair for that.
Yeah, when it comes to hair, I've tried all the things. I'll go pretty far. I will cut my hair, I'll color my hair because it'll grow back and it's fine. But that was more, I think, that's kind of what I did starting because I was scared of like styling wigs for myself. I was used to just being handed them and being able to put them on someone, but I wasn't used to styling them, and I found it really intimidating. But I'm much more comfortable now. But I'll go pretty far in terms of cutting my hair for a cosplay.
Nice.
So I have, in terms of like characters that are out there, I have a pretty unique hair texture. So most of the time I just have to use a wig because I don't have the same hair as the person I'm cosplaying. But I also prefer a wig just because it's more consistent. And, even if I am doing a character that I'm giving curly hair, it's just more consistent. I can play with it more if I need to and not worry about like ripping my own hair out. But yeah, I just don't have, unfortunately, I don't have the luxury of using my own hair a lot because most characters don't have my hair, which is why I make a point to take characters that I'm cosplaying and give them curly hair and give them those more coded features to sort of add to that representation aspect, kind of little bit out of spite.
I mean,
I love it.
On that too, I don't think that there's anything wrong with not doing anything to your hair and just wearing your own hair, even if it doesn't match the character's hair. If you have those other features that look like the character, it will be recognizable.
Yeah, that's cool. So, stepping out of that and going towards hair, so I bought my daughter her first real hair a few months ago for a cosplay she was doing for PAX Unplugged. And I was surprised when I walked in a wig shop and I was blown away. Like, I was posting photos like I didn't know places like this existed. It was like, so it was in a strip mall, and it went back all the way to the back to this huge thing, and it was wide. It was like, it wasn't a big box store, but it was a huge store. So I assume that you can only do that when you're in like a big enough city to supply that. I live in Miami, so I have a city with it. Is that where you go to get your wigs, or do you order them online? Do you go to these stores? Like, where can a new cosplayer go to find wigs for cosplay? Because I don't think they're all the same.
I've never set foot into a wig store. I usually get it on Amazon or Epic Cosplay Wigs is another website that I really like. Theirs are really good quality and they last a long time. But yeah, I think there might be one. I live in Virginia, so I'm pretty sure there's one nearby. I just haven't been into one before. I also just prefer the ease of ordering online. But if there's something like real specific I need, I would probably seek it out.
Yeah, there's wig stores in most cities. They'll have wig or hair stores in most cities. If you Google and look in your area, there'll be one, but they might not have a variety of colors and like cuts already done. And you're also in wig stores, you're usually looking at like real hair or some sort of like high-end heat resistant plastic, which is great, but they tend to be a lot pricier, and you may not care that much. It might not be worth it to you and what you're doing to have a, $50 wig, $100 wig, $200 wig, and you'd rather just get something for $10 or $20. It's going to be itchy, it's going to be shiny, but it will, it will do what you need it to do,
Yeah. Ditto. They pretty much covered it.
So what is the least, I'm going to go the other way. What is the least you've spent on a wig that you felt was awesome? Like it was perfect. And maybe it's free. Maybe you got it for nothing from a friend, or maybe it was $10.
So my Jester wig, I paid $6 for that wig on Amazon. It was just cheap wig.
Yep.
It was long, and then I cut it myself to length. And then my daughter ended up using it for the same wig for Ladybug, because I have a very, very tiny head. So that's typically my problem, is I have to do quite a bit of work on wigs, is because my head's quite small, and my hair is quite dense. My natural hair is very thick. So the combo of those two things doesn't really work great with wigs and the wig structure. So I usually have to do some deconstruction and sewing and stuff to get it to fit right.
Yeah,
But
I'm pretty sure
$6 is my cheapest.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure mine was 10, my Laudna wig. And I knew I was gonna do just her hair's a rat's nest, so I wasn't gonna comb it out. I wasn't like it. I've worn it a couple of times and it is a mess, but it looks great because that's the way her hair looks. I've stuck that little hammer in so many times, and it's just like there's pieces everywhere, and it's a total mess, but it works for the character.
I think the cheapest, besides recycling wigs when possible from friend to friend, I think the cheapest I've gone is 15 or 20. Yeah, Amazon is regrettably your friend in that department.
Some of this stuff's pretty good. The ones that I've gotten, this is pretty good.
Have you gotten a wig, it arrived, and you were immediately or soon after dissatisfied with it, like you felt it was not going to work?
Yes.
100%. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, didn't look anything like the picture.
Really shiny, really thin.
Looking at you, Timu.
I have not ventured into that yet, and I'm afraid to, because I'm pretty sure it's addicting.
Yeah, I think in a lot of those circumstances, there's some things you can do to make them work. But sometimes if they're too thin, it's almost like it would be worth it to just spend more and buy something else, because what you would need in that circumstance is the exact same wig, like two of them, to be able to combine the wefts to like fill it out to make it fuller. And by that time you've done labor and, tried to de-shine it and make it like heat treated as best you can. And it's just not worth the effort sometimes, as it would be to pay the extra $10 to get a $20 wig instead, or a $30 wig instead.
And that's always why going back to last week, when I'm budgeting out my cosplay, I have the hard budget and then the part of the budget, because I know that's always a possibility, particularly in the wig department.
Yeah.
Of like I might have to repurchase a new wig.
Yeah. In my past life, I used to do airbrush art a lot, like for like friends' motorcycles and stuff. But I know there are people who do airbrush for makeup. Have you done any airbrush work for your makeup?
I've done airbrush work on other people. I've not done it on myself. That sounds terrifying. Try to do it on myself. I know I'd mess it up, but I have done it on other people. Yeah.
And
I've had it done to me for my wedding and for my friend's wedding.
oh wow, nice.
That's it.
Did you? Okay, so when you were getting the work done, how long did you have to sit to get it done? and how long did it last through the day? Because airbrush puts a thin layer. It's not like it's the thick caked on stuff you're going to get with heavy foundations and things like that.
Wasn't very long, and it actually felt kind of good. It was nice and cooling.
Yeah.
We put it on, and it lasted. I was very impressed.
Yeah, so a lot of the colored makeups that you see in cosplay, at least the best ones, are a lot of people just buy Mayron. But Ben Nye also makes colored makeups for like theaters and stuff. But they're most of them they're water based. Ben Nye's tend to be oil based, but the Mayron are water based. So putting it through an air brush machine or a nozzle, it is going to be pretty simple, and the type of makeup lends itself to that type of application.
And are there cosplays that you feel you would need to use like an airbrush and friskets or masks to create hard edges? Or do you think that you could just do everything without an airbrush? Like, sometimes you see aliens that have complicated patterns or animal prints that potentially are difficult.
So for that, you could probably just make a stencil or buy a stencil and just use eyeshadow. And just blend it out if need be.
Yeah.
I know, for drag queens that have hard contour, like Trixie Mattel, that kind of thing, they just use like a postcard and, brush on their contour, and then they take the postcard away and it has a sharp line.
Yep.
That kind of thing.
So where do you go to get stencils? Like somebody new coming in, where would they go to find stencils?
Amazon. That's where I got mine.
Etsy.
You can also, if you have like a Cricut, or if you're good with like a razor blade, I highly recommend, if you want them to be like use once only, but like really have a clean line, I like to use drawer liner paper. It's like it's like a little bit sticky, and it's really cheap. You can get it by the roll, and then you can cut out your image on that and then it'll stick to where you need it to stick to, and then you peel it off and you've got
It's great.
a cool thing.
That's cool.
But if you have a Cricut, you can pretty much make any stencil you want at any size.
Of course we have a Cricut. We have 3 kids.
Yeah.
There's no way of not having a Cricut at a certain point in your life. You can't.
You're not wrong.
I'd love to have the laser etching or something. That'd be cool. But
yeah, you can
dreams.
use that with it. I like the sticker paper. I like to use the drawer liner mainly because it's not so sticky. It's not as sticky as like the actual sticker paper you can buy. But that way, if you have like letters or something that has like a center cutout, you don't have to have like a pumpkin type jack-o'-lantern type stencil where everything's connected. You can have those other pieces and stick them on and get them in place, and then do your detail work with like eyeshadow or paint or whatever you want to try.
So let's go the other way. You want to make a makeup that is super clean and smooth over a large portion of your body, arms, face, neck, potentially back, whatever it is. How do you maintain consistency in color and tone across a large swath of skin? Because I'll leave it at that. I think that's the question.
It's a big ask. It's a big ask, particularly
and all of you have done it, by the way. All of you have examples, so I know you can all do it. With
the colored stuff. I think a lot of people tend to do like pantyhose and sew them into gloves and like a bodysuit to cover as much of their skin as possible, so you don't have to do that. You don't have to make everything match, because a lot of times with the colored applications, getting it smooth, the trick is in application speed and consistency. Particularly with those water-based products, you need to get them to the right thickness and consistency to where you can put them on with one coat, if possible, because if you go back and try to put a second layer on with that has too much water in it, it will just remove what you've already put on. So then you'll end up with all these patches, and then it can get really frustrating, and it's just a whole thing. So covering as much of your skin with something else is a lot of times preferable. It's a lot less stressful. It's a lot less work.
That's the route that I went when I did Scarlet's. I did my face and my neck, and then I think I did my hands, but I was very skeptical and hesitant to do my hands because I did not want to get the gray paint on everything. But I found that, especially the gloves, because I was wearing gloves with that too. But I found that if I use setting powder on my hands, that actually helped it stay on really well. And I just covered my hands in that. And, you know, I wasn't taking like professional pictures or anything. So like the tones, is that the word I want to use? Tones didn't need to match exactly. But if I were to do like a competition or something, I would be a lot more careful with matching it. But I'm definitely with Haley on this one. Using other things to cover your skin just makes for less mess.
Yeah. I, for Shy, who's the blue elf, I didn't have arm socks or anything, so I did have to like do my arms and like my back a little bit, and that definitely was not fun. Mainly because there were spots that I couldn't reach physically, so I had to get my boyfriend to do it, and he hadn't practiced, you know, obviously as much as I had, so I was like trying to be like supportive and like not worry about it.
Yeah.
But then like watching someone who hadn't done it before do it on me, I was like dying a little bit inside. But we figured it out, and you know, it became even over, you know, applications. But yeah, definitely eliminate the problem as much as you can by covering as much skin as you can. I also, when I have to do my hands, I only do the top of my hands, because I can just, if I have to, edit my palms to be a different color in pictures later. And that sort of takes away my stress about touching things. Because that is like the number one when you're wearing an inhuman color, is like getting it on other people's stuff or other people is like the number one stressor.
Yep.
But like to add to that, if you're looking to make sure everything looks even and you're doing the makeup, this is really, really uncomfortable, but I would recommend wearing clown white underneath everything if you're doing a color. And even I wouldn't under foundation, but clown white is a specific type of makeup. It is an oil-based makeup, so it feels really heavy on your skin, and your skin feels, you just like want to wipe it off. But when you put that on, especially under the colored makeups, if you have any damage to the makeup, like, you know, you get splashed or you're drinking something or your nose runs or something like that, for some reason, when you see the white underneath the color, like if that peeks through, it really doesn't look very obvious at all. But if you see your skin tone that comes through underneath the colored makeup, it looks really blatant and patchy, especially in photographs. For some reason, that clown white works. I don't understand why. I'm sure there's somebody who is knowledgeable in like color theory and light balance and reflectivity that can explain that to me. But if you're looking for like really even consistent under, like, I would concentrate on like what you put under the makeup. And But again, it is uncomfortable to wear. So definitely do a makeup test to see if you can stand it for a long period of time, because it is very heavy and it's like your skin can't really breathe very well when you wear it.
I remember hearing about when they did the James Bond movie, Goldfinger. Like, they had to paint a girl all in gold.
Yeah.
And I heard that they had to leave a patch on her back or something because her skin couldn't breathe. And it could actually be dangerous. Like, it could overheat her body or something. I was like,
Wow.
makeup? Wow.
Yeah.
I never thought of makeup as a weapon.
Yeah, in The Wizard of Oz, the people who played the Tin Man, they got very, very ill from the makeup.
Wow. I hope they have better makeup now.
They do. Yes. They certainly
Much
do.
safer.
Do you have a favorite brand of makeup that you just swear by every time you get it? It's just amazing. Or
I
brands?
have a couple. I mean, ELF, in terms of affordability and general quality, I like half of my makeup I use is ELF. And then these for lips that aren't crazy colors, that are like quote unquote normal lipstick colors. There's this CoverGirl product that I can't remember the name of, because it's somewhat generic. It's like Superstay 24 hour or something. But the way it works is it's a liquid lipstick that dries, and then you put on like this like waxy gloss thing that is just like clear waxy gloss to make it not feel super crunchy on your lips, but it stays for forever. I've had this exact lip on since 9 a.m. today, and I've eaten and everything, and I haven't had to reapply it.
It looks fresh.
Yeah. And so it comes together like this. So if you're ever in the drugstore and you see this sort of combination, highly recommend this.
Okay.
And then Juvia's Place is a wonderful black-owned makeup brand, and their eyeshadow and foundation and their lashes, which I'm wearing right now, they're just all so high quality and buttery and apply really well. I would recommend them if you're getting into makeup and you want to do more of like a mid price point where you're not spending like, I don't know, like $6 to $10 on makeup, and you want to go to maybe like the 18 to 30 range. I highly recommend them because they just go on and stay on, and it's awesome.
What was that name again? I'm taking notes.
Juvia's Place, Juvia.
Juvia's Place.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Definitely going to check that out.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then I have like this ELF bite size that I use for just quote unquote natural looking makeup.
A little
It's
higher?
4 colors. It's 4. Oh God. It's 4 colors. This is the one that works best for my skin tone. It's cream and sugar, and it just gives the eyes a little oomph, but isn't full drag like I'm wearing right now. And this is like $6.
Yeah.
And they have a bunch of different ones of different colors, and yeah.
Yeah, I like ELF too. I don't have like a brand per se. I will go into Sephora or a drugstore and just kind of browse and see what jumps out. I like to one of the looks that I'm trying to master is a smoky eye, so I'll look for palettes that lend themselves to a smoky eye. Or if I'm like putting together a cosplay for a certain character, I'll look for their colors in a palette. And that, but I do have this one like concealer that I love, that I don't think that they make anymore, or if they do it, they turn it into a different product, but it's from Benefit. And you can get that at Sephora, and it's like, I remember very vividly going in there and asking one of the employees there, like, I need a good concealer. for under my eyes, and they gave me this, and it was like they taught me a little bit of color theory when they were doing it. And they said, if you want to, balance out the dark circles that are under your eyes, you get something that has a little bit of orange or peach in it, because they're opposites on the color wheel, and they'll kind of cancel each other out. And I remember that just blowing my mind. So now when I look for concealer, I look for like a little peachy color in that. But other than that, like I have so many different eyeshadow palettes. It's so much. I like try and go through it all, but then I'm like, oh, but I might need this. I want to do that. I do have a couple of like nudes and neutrals that I have, but I'm pretty sure they're just like Maybelline or CoverGirl or something like that. Yeah.
My favorite like branded makeup that I can't do without is the Tarte Shape Tape. It's like a concealer, but I use it as my primary foundation. The stuff is immovable. It's amazing. And it layers really well. So if you want to like basically make a blank canvas to start from, particularly in cosplay when you're trying to like make your face look like somebody else's face, it's very good at like, you can layer it and it will make your face look flat. It will take away your freckles and your dark circles and pretty much everything. But it's a pricey one, but it's called Tarte is the brand, and it's called Shape Tape. You'll see a lot of people will use it as under eye concealer, and they'll put it on, and then they'll do their foundation, they'll put it on again, and then they'll do like a third layer of it, and it's like that's
cool.
It's pretty amazing how great it works. For setting spray, my favorite setting spray is the On Till Dawn setting spray by One Size Beauty. So the bottle's pink and it has like an O and a slash and an S. It works wonders. It's incredible. It will set your makeup and it will not go anywhere. Okay. But the setting powder, like you were saying earlier, is a great trick. It's something that I learned in theater, is particularly for like lipsticks. If lipsticks tend to really go away for you, is to line the whole lip, put on your lipstick, put on your highlight, put the setting powder fully on your lips, and then do the lipstick and highlighter again, and then set it a second time, and it won't go anywhere. If you don't set it the second time, that's fine. It'll look more shiny and glossy and present, but it might wear a little bit more throughout the day.
I will say, if you want makeup that will not budge, get a makeup from a drag queen's brand.
For sure.
I have the kimchi setting powder that I use, and it's like magic. It is so blurring and so powerful that I highly recommend. Honestly, I highly recommend if you just want to learn about like makeup application for more costumey stuff, just watch drag queen tutorials. That's how I learned how to do makeup, which is why I only ever really do really like glam draggy makeup. But it taught me so much about like proportioning your face, especially if you're going for a specific kind of face shape, how to make like what makes your face bigger or smaller in proportion to the hair and outfit you're wearing, and then like contouring, how to make sure your makeup stays. Like drag queens are an invaluable resource.
100%. Also in wigs.
Yes, especially wigs.
Their wig tutorials and reviews and information about wigs is phenomenal. But I will note that those are typically more high-end wigs.
Yes.
Usually human hair or high-end synthetics. So don't expect to get a $10 wig and then follow a drag tutorial, because it probably won't work.
So what are the price points of wigs? We've talked earlier about $6 to $15. And what are when we're talking about those ranges, what are they generally made of at the different price points?
I don't know. I just buy the ones that I think look cool.
Yeah, there is a sort of expectation I have going in when I'm looking for wigs of price point versus quality. And I think I just have the experience now to know when a cheap wig is going to be a cheap trash wig versus a cheap wig is going to be a workable wig or a great wig. I think typically if you're getting something from like Epic Cosplay or maybe even Arta, something that is like a cosplay wig vendor that is designing for cosplay, you're going to get wigs that might be able to take a little more heat, might be a little more stylable, won't be as shiny out the bag. But if you go onto Amazon and you find a $25 wig and you look at people's reviews and their pictures that they might post and it looks usable to you, there's, especially with those customer pictures, that you might find yourself a steal. So it really just depends on what you need the wig for, what you need it to look like, how much volume you need it for, that kind of thing.
So the more expensive wigs are going to have human hair is the most expensive wigs. The mid-tier are synthetic wigs that are primarily made of a material called sarin, SARAN. It's a type of plastic. And then the lowest tier are usually like a nylon and a polyester, and they may have a little bit of sarin in it. So the lowest tier, you can't really heat them very high because those polyesters and nylons are going to melt at a much lower temperature than the sarin will. So the sarin wigs, their melting temperature is about 320 degrees, which is less than steam. Steam is like, what is water steam at? 300, 310? It's under that.
Around there, yeah.
So it's going to that in talking about like wig styling, if you're using a human hair wig, you want to use heat to style it just like you would the hair on your head. You're going to use heat, you're going to use hairsprays, you're going to use normal hair products. When you're looking at a synthetic wig, it's plastic. So you're not going to use hair products on it like you would human hair. You're going to want to use something that is made for plastic. So the main way to deform plastic or reshape plastic is with heat. But you don't want to put too much heat into it to where it will break, melt, burn, and get messed up. So that's why steam is so effective in making curls, setting curls, and like making styles and setting the style, because essentially what you're doing is you're taking the plastic, you're putting it into the shape you want, and then you're heating the plastic to take that shape. It's almost like putting a cake into a mold, or like wrapping something around a mold and letting it set. And then when you take the mold out, so whenever you take your clips out or whatever else, the wig has like cooled, that plastic has permanently, I say that with air quotes, has permanently deformed its shape, and it should hold that shape. And then for some of the more eccentric styles that you might want to do that are like, especially in anime where you've got like spikes and cones and lifts and things like that, then instead of using hairspray, which you can use, the more effective tools is going to be a glue, because and sometimes even some of those thermoplastic glues that tend to like melt the plastic fibers together, you do have to be careful with those for texture on the outside, but that's the main difference, and that's what you're going to see in your price points. So the lower price points, you can't really heat them at all. The mid price points, you could heat it with your straightener, but on a like 200-degree setting, but the main effectiveness is steam. And then the high end very expensive wigs. They're going to be human hair. They're going to behave like human hair. They're going to be easy to cut. They're going to be easy to style. They're going to feel really normal, and they're going to be a lot more comfortable.
Nice. Well, we've reached the midpoint. Why don't we take a few minutes break? We'll come back and we'll hop in more. There's a lot more questions, and I think that it's really interesting to talk about the cost of these things, because anybody getting into it new, they don't know what this stuff is going to cost, and it doesn't have to cost an arm and a leg to look awesome. So
Yeah, baby steps.
yeah, we'll see you in a few minutes. And we are back. Thank you for being patient and waiting for us. We're going to get right back in. I'm going to show some of the work you just saw some of the work, but I have questions on some of the particular characters. So I'm actually going to go, sorry. Somebody has released the hounds.
Mine was squeaking a ball earlier. I couldn't figure out if y'all could hear it or not. She was going a
I
little
didn't hear it, no.
crazy. Good, I'm glad.
I am going to start with Shannon. So the one on the left, if I remember, that is Saskia, right?
That is Sloan. That is
Sloan.
That is Sloan, my barbarian. Also, rip. Recently.
Oh no!
I know. My babies are dying. No, I haven't. I have a cosplay for Saskia, but I haven't done pictures or anything yet. It was a lot. It was very heavy, so I couldn't keep it on. I wanted to do it on a beach, but anyway, yes, that is Sloan.
So in it, you have a very interesting thing going on with what is essentially splattered blood and soot and
mud. Yep.
Whatever all of it is.
Yep.
How do you get an effect like that to make it look good and stay in place?
So, oh man, that was a lot of fun to do.
Please don't just say it was Photoshop.
No, that's all real. No, I don't know how to use Photoshop. No, that's all real. I bought fake blood again on Amazon. It's very messy. Oh my God, if you've ever worked with fake blood, oh my God, it makes such a mess. So make sure you've cleared your area of stuff you don't want to get blood all over. But how did I apply that? I had a spray. There was a spray that I had. I also had it was kind of like, it's going to be really gross, but it looked like Jell-O. And I kind of just scooped it out and stuck a little bit on it and then just let it fall so that it looked like it was a cut dripping blood. And then I actually went outside and got some actual dirt and just rubbed it on my face.
The classic.
The original makeup.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Exactly.
And then I don't know if I did a scar in this one. I might have. But did I? I might have. I've done scars for Scarlet before, where I have, I watched a tutorial where you get a nude lipstick and then you get rigid collodion. And then you use the nude lipstick to trace to sketch what you want the scar to look like. And then you put the rigid collodion over it and it kind of like shrink wraps your skin. Almost. And then, so I think I did it down her cheek on this one, but yeah. And then the blue is just face paint. I just bought a really cheap, set of face paints, on Amazon. And, for Sloan, I had a different, barbarian, Viking, Nordic design every week because I wasn't sure what I liked. So I just had a different, I looked up pictures every week and just did a different one. And that's what came out that week.
Yeah, I love the rough modeled kind of,
Yeah.
just like, kind of
Yeah.
look to all of that.
I've done, with the face paint, I have paint in my hand and just gone like this over my face before. It's very empowering.
Viking hair is one of my favorites too. All the braids and the just sticking it.
Speaking of braids, do you braid wigs? Like, is that a thing that works well?
Well is
As a styling thing, maybe not so much, but if that's part of the final style, depending on what the braid is.
little braids, fantastic, easy
Yeah.
to do. If you're doing a full braid of a wig, you have to worry about weft and weft direction and how the wig is sewn so that the wefts don't show.
Right. So on the middle one where you did the gray makeup, that's the one you were
Yes.
talking about earlier.
Yes, that is Scarlett, my baby girl. Love her
And-
so much.
And that one you ran the makeup
All the
neckline.
way down here, like everything that was going to be that wasn't going to be covered by my shirt. I put the makeup on, and I did use the Mayron brand. I liked that. I like that brand a lot. That's where I got that for the Paradise Gray was what I used for Scarlet. And their rigid collodion's really good too.
And then you ran it right to the lipstick edge, or is it under the lipstick too, the gray?
Is it under the lipstick?
I don't know.
Remember. I honestly don't remember. I did this
Okay.
so long ago, but it might be. I might have, just to make it even, and then I just put a really bright red lip over it to kind of.
So when you do
cover it.
that, when you put like a color like a gray under red, are the lipsticks thick enough that they aren't affected by the color underneath? Or do you have to put something between the color of the gray or whatever color it is and the lipstick to make it not pick up the dullness of a gray, for instance?
I didn't. I just put a lot on until I couldn't see the gray.
You can't tell.
Yeah, and like I really loved how it popped against the gray. That was nice. And I've just realized I was saying to the other two before, like that's my trio of redheads. I do a lot of redheads. I've done Avantika from Critical Role as well, and I just have a big red wig. I didn't
Actually,
send a picture of that, but
When I was putting it
Did I?
together, I was wondering if you were using the same wigs styled differently or if they're different wigs.
I think all of those are different. I know Scarlet Witch is different from Merida's. I think those are all. I have lots of redhead wigs. I think those are all different.
Okay.
I got
And
all
then-
of those on Amazon.
The one where you have the black and the white, did you
Yeah,
do anything
Laudna.
to that, or was that
Nope.
like that? Like that was just
That was
a
my
buy and
that's
done.
my that was my $10 Laudna wig. I was looking painstakingly for I needed the white in there because I needed that white strip to go back up because that's what the art was, and I was using the art as the reference. So yeah, I just pinned it up and kind of just ran my fingers through it and made it look messy, and that's what happened.
Nice. And Haley, there was. Let me see. Okay,
It
so
looks so good.
we didn't get to
Yeah.
talk about your bubblegum look last week because it was mostly makeup, and we're talking
Yeah.
costume. So, before I get into the big question, is it photoshopped? Did you do any work in Photoshop to it? Okay.
No, that is just my face. That's
All
all
right.
makeup.
So, is the hair real or is that a wig?
That's the $6 wig.
Really?
That's
That looks
the
awesome.
that's the
Wow.
really cheap wig.
It looks great.
I thought it was your real hair or something. I was
No,
like, that's so
no.
good. That has to be real hair.
Nope, it's a cheap wig. So I cut it myself. I like to buy them longer and then cut them. I have some scissors that they're like a feathering scissor. So like one half the blade is straight and the other half has these little like teeth cut out of it.
Yeah.
And when you cut, it only cuts where the teeth are. So it can give you like really softer edges. And then I like point cut it into this one. But like a lot of it has to do with the hairline in making a wig look natural. In that one, I moved the hairline and then I like heated it to give it a little bit of body, so you didn't see like a harsh line. And then I put some dry shampoo on it. I know a lot of people talk about using fabric softener to make a cheap wig, look less shiny. And I've tried that. It does make a wig easier to brush and detangle for ones that get tangled really easily, but I don't find that it like really reduces shine that much. But I used, yeah, some setting powder, dry shampoo, and eyeshadow. I used like a dark navy blue eyeshadow and like dusted it with eyeshadow. And you can get the place I found the biggest like palettes of eyeshadow in terms of like the pancake. You can buy the individual pancakes so that when you're putting your blush brush or a larger brush in it, you're not picking up other colors that are around it. You can get those at Sephora in a lot of colors. So you can buy them through Sephora's website and have them delivered to you, or like go into the store, but they sell like the individual round pancakes, not in a tray. And I like to use those for a lot of cosplay stuff.
What about the horn? How do you get the horns to not look unnatural or shake when the hair shakes, in a way that makes it feel like it's not really connected? Like, are there tricks to that?
There are. So those ones, I made those horns, and I made the I don't know if the kids' horns are on there, but I made the kids' horns too.
Let me see. I'll run through some of the others.
I think Brantley was in the background of one, but it got cut out. That's fine. But I made them out of like paper mache. I put aluminum foil in the middle and then wrapped the aluminum foil with paper towels dipped in glue, like glue water, and like paper mached the horns. So they're very, very lightweight. And then you can make the like base part that's going to sit on your head out of foam. And you can either attach like wig clips, work really great. You can buy them at, what is that? Sally Beauty. You can buy wig clips, a wig store, probably Walmart or Target. You can get wig clips, but you can sew them in or glue them in and they snap open. And so then you can tuck them into the weft of the wig, because your wig has like lines. A weft is like a line of hair. And you can, if you get a long wig, you can like cut and make your own wefts to add back into the wig. That's another trick. If you want a fuller wig, get it longer. And then you have to be kind of careful. I usually put scotch tape, or not scotch tape, painter's tape on the hair, so it's in like one line, and then I'll cut it. And then I take parchment paper, or if you have like a glass table or a piece of glass, and you put a line of glue, and then you set the hair in it, and then you sandwich that with another layer of glue. The fray check works good. Like a lot of the fabric glues that are kind of flexible, those work good. You could even use hot glue. You could use, I wouldn't recommend super glue. It probably wouldn't work very good. Mod Podge would probably work great. But caulk, like for your house, caulk works excellent. Okay. For making wefts. Because it's silicone, it's really flexible, and so you can like sew it in, and it will like it works so good. House caulk, and you can buy like a little tube of it with a reusable cap. Anyway, you can take those and make wefts, and then you can sew them in anywhere. You can stitch them in, you can glue them in with more caulk if you want to. But it's a good way to make nice fronts of your wig too. Because you can put the weft in whatever direction is natural for your face shape or your hairline, and you want to put it in so like you have your weft underneath, facing the direction, like the weft will face the direction that you want the hair to end up going, and you attach it that way, and then it will fold over itself, and that will create the invisible hairline.
Wow.
But with those particular horns were attached with a headband, because she has like flower crowns and fun stuff, and it's just easy to like glue them on a headband and throw a headband with flowers on it, and no one knows the difference. But wig clips work great for horns.
How do you do these
like
giant hair pieces for kids? Because the hairpiece in the middle is as long as your kid almost.
It is. It's massive. So that is, you can buy these types of wigs with pigtails or ponytails. And what it is it's a claw clip with basically a really long extension on the claw clip. And then the base wig is like a short pixie cut. And then the claw clip grabs into the wig and then comes down. So with this one, you can see my kids are like playing quite hard because it's in Trapta. So he was using the wig as hands because that's how the character plays, and they were play fighting. And it stayed on the whole time. So the kind of two things. If you don't want your pigtails or really long hair like that to tangle, one trick you can use is you can make a netting sleeve for the pigtail. For him, he wanted to play with it and put his hands in it and move it around, so we were going to do that. But you can take tulle of a very similar color to the wig and you stitch it into a tube, and then you feed the hair into that. And with this case, you would attach it on the back side of the wig clip. So it would go all the way over the hair. The hair would just be in a long tube of tulle, and you can't see the tulle at all. And it keeps your hair from tangling throughout the day when you're like running around and taking pictures and stuff. I like to sew them so they're like 3/4 of the way. And so the end still has that natural hair coming out. But yeah, doing a sleeve for your wig is really, really helpful in being able to move throughout the day. But the reason his wig was able to stay on all day long was I used something called wig grip. Wig grip is a headband that is made of velvet, and the nap of the velvet is one direction. And so you put the nap that is rough in the direction that the wig is going to pull back, right? So it's just a headband that you wear, and then you put the wig on top of it. And the wig, when it tries to slip off, the nap of the velvet will keep it in place.
Cool.
That way it's really comfortable for kids to wear. It's not like really, you don't have to use pins or clips or anything like that, and it's going to stay on their head all day with just a headband, and it's so much more comfortable for them, and it keeps it in place.
Nice. You're all in the wrong windows. Darn it. Okay. Asteria, the hair you have in here on the right with the white, black, white.
Yes.
How did you build that? That doesn't seem like a wig you can buy. It looks like something you have to build out of multiple wigs or something.
So this is Yasha from Critical Role.
I was gonna ask, is that Yasha?
Yes.
Beautiful.
Thank you. This is actually a wig that I bought. It came with the black and the white and the ombre. And so all I really did to it was add all the doodads in the hair. So all the like hanging fabric with the beads and like the braided yarn with the beads. And that had to get sewn in to the wig. But yeah, by some
Wow.
miracle, I was able to find this wig, and all I had to do, beside adding the doodads, was put it up in a ponytail, and it sat, and it created a really cool
Yeah.
silhouette. So yeah,
Where did you find it?
on Amazon. I forget what I Googled. I think it was just like black and white ombre curly wig or something like that. And it did take me a while to find it. I did like have to do a couple rounds of searching, with like switching around the keywords and stuff. But yeah.
And what about the eye makeup in there? How did you get that stunning sort of?
So
It's not dripping. It's different.
Yeah, so this eyeshadow, I believe the primary one was a gel eyeliner, that I sort of just like smudged on with reckless abandon. And then to get it look like I was crying or it was more drippy, I took a black eyeshadow that wasn't true black. And that's something to watch out for, is if you're looking for black eyeliners and black eyeshadows and white eyeliners and white eyeshadows, you have to make sure that they're really, really white and really, really black, which is also why I recommend buying drag queens products, because they're going to make sure that they are pigmented. And so I took a black eyeshadow that was a liar and just sort of smudged around it. So the tears, I did like my basic tear shape with an angle brush with that gel liner. And then the rest around it, I think, was that black eyeshadow. So it looked like it had dimension. It looked like it had, a core tear that then smudged out.
It's amazing. On so did you is it this okay, so the one, your elf, that's the one that's the very smooth blue all through, except your lips, which are a different tone of blue.
Yes.
The one next to that has the dark purple and then the heavy cheekbones, like the darkening of the cheekbones. Is it the same techniques that you used in both, or is there something different about what you had done? They both look very smooth and perfectly done. I just don't know if they're effectively the same technique.
So I will say that I do edit my photos. I do not heavily, but I don't know if it's the same for Android users, but on iPhone, Photoshop does have apps that you can download that makes it really easy to edit photos that you can have a little more control than just your phone's base photo editor. So I have Photoshop Fix, which is what I mainly use when I'm editing my cosplay photos, but there's also Photoshop Mix and PS Express. So in terms of Shy, who is the one on the right, the blue, that makeup is actually not my best work, because it wasn't very even when I applied it, because I was using the wrong brush. I thought the brush that I bought also was a liar, and it was not lending itself to a smooth application like I thought it would. So I had to go back in with eyeshadow and sort of do some patchwork. So in real life, it didn't look as smooth here. I actually smoothed out in post a little bit. But to answer your question, both of these colors are Maron Paradise water-based makeup. And I just went a little harder on the contour and the blush for Ink, who's the purple on the left.
It's beautiful too.
Thank you.
I'm getting more Tisha vibes from that.
Yes, Ink is probably one of my favorite characters. She's from Batman Beyond, and I love her.
Gorgeous.
She's just so
I love
elegant.
the pose too.
Yeah.
How did you get? Did your black lipstick stay all day?
Yeah. So I actually had a black lipstick, and I did the setting powder trick as well. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of.
Clean.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm a huge fan of putting the makeup on and then not having to touch it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
definitely a fan of that. But if for new cosplayers out there, definitely bring your backups. Bring things that you know might wear, like lipstick, like lashes if the lash glue pops, stuff like that. But yeah, that lipstick and then setting powder trick is invaluable to make it stay even through eating sometimes. And then yeah, just really graphic brows and liner. As I mentioned, I did not paint the underside of my hand for ink, and I just edited it in Photoshop, and it's kind of hard to tell the difference.
Yeah, no, I couldn't tell.
The one next to that, it's kind of amazing that you said you haven't worked with prosthetics. So the facial burn is not prosthetic.
Well, not prosthetics in so much as like heavily augmenting my face with like pre-made pieces and that kind of thing. So what this was red tissue paper and liquid latex and fake blood, just sort of like mashed into like a flat piece, and then very carefully liquid latex and spirit gum attached to my face and my arms. And the beauty of this one was because it's supposed to look burnt, and I didn't really have to be super careful.
Yeah.
Because it was pretty rough edges, which also lent itself to looking burnt because it was like kind of like peeling up and stuff. But it was actually super easy to create it because I could just really just take the tissue paper and rip it up and then put it on like parchment paper or something easy to release, and then just like stab it with a brush full of liquid latex and just go to town.
Yeah, it looks amazing.
What character is that?
So this is burned up Lisa Tepesh from Castlevania Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's amazing. All of you do amazing work. I mean, it's fantastic. One of the things that I notice is all of the hair in almost all of these are unnatural colors. But you were saying that you were using, in most cases, inexpensive wigs. Are inexpensive wigs dyeable?
Yes.
Like the
they
nylon
are.
ones or whatever?
Yeah, they are. You can use fabric dye. They make a poly RIT dye. And you can use, I find that's the best method to dye a wig. A lot of people, if you YouTube how to dye a synthetic wig, there's a lot of tutorials out there that'll talk about using like Sharpie ink. And I wouldn't recommend that route. It tends to bleed afterward and get on stuff. It doesn't really stay. But RIT dye works. But then I've never seen it done. I've never seen anyone do this, but in theory, you could do it like you would a tie-dye, and use it in like a squirt bottle to give yourself like variation. Or like if you were dyeing your hair, do foils with the RIT dye. In theory, that would work to give you like some color depth, because part of like what makes a wig look real wiggy is that it's very flat. You don't have a lot of dimension of color in the roots or in the hair itself. It looks a lot more natural if you have some strands that are a little darker and a little lighter and a little more yellow or a little more red.
Yeah. Have either of the two others dyed an inexpensive wig? Have you tried it?
Nope.
I haven't ever dyed a wig, but for Shy, she has that pink ombre to her hair, and I just kind of did the Sharpie method where I went to Michael's, got some appropriately colored pink markers, took out the pen tips, threw them in a little spray bottle, let that sort of become pinker overnight, and then sprayed the ombre in. And I think it lended itself to looking more like a more natural, more gradual ombre, because it was like all like sprayed
Soft.
in and soft. Yeah.
Did it bleed or anything when you wore it? Did you have issues with that?
I don't know, because it fully
That's
dried
good.
the night before.
Nice.
And it might have been the type of markers that I got, because I didn't use Sharpies. I used more like artsy fartsy coloring coloring artist markers. Honestly, I wasn't paying attention to which ones I grabbed, but
Did you
luckily
put
for
it
me, it
in a
didn't bleed.
bottle of alcohol? Is that what you put it in?
No, I just did water. And
Okay.
and it stayed pretty well. And it's still pretty colorful. So I think I just got lucky. 'Cause it was really last minute too, because I didn't really remember the pink ombre until like a couple days before the con. I was like, oh crap, how am I gonna do this?
Well, you heard it here first. A new method to get the color done.
That's really cool.
That is cool.
So what is in your, I mean, we've talked a lot about what to do with your hair, but what's in your hair toolkit that's really important to being able to achieve some of these results? I mean, Haley, you went into all kinds of things like using tulle as a hair separator to keep it from tangling. Like,
shield?
what other things are in your toolboxes for really doing amazing hair?
This is an area that I probably need to, well, I need to be better in if I want to preserve the wigs that I've got, because I really don't do a lot of maintenance on them. Granted, I wear them like once or twice every however long. But I want, I've never styled a wig before. I kind of look for ones that are already in the style that I want, so I don't have to do that. I've done just like, I'll pin back like the longer ones so you can see my face more, and just do that with bobby pins. So bobby pins, a lot of bobby pins, lots and lots and lots. If you don't think you have enough, or if you think you have enough, get more. So yeah, bobby pins. I've used wig caps before. I'm very intrigued by this. I wrote it down, the wig grip headband that you were talking about before, Haley. I want to definitely look into that, because that sounds a lot more comfortable.
They're cheap.
Yeah, great. I'm gonna look into
Amazon.
that.
Perfect.
Amazon.
Comfortable,
Yeah, great.
cheap,
Amazon.
works well.
Yeah. Yeah, and I have like it's like a little zipper pouch that if I'm traveling, or when I'm traveling with them, I'll put the wig in. But I usually just keep it in like its little net that it usually comes in when I'm done with it. And then inside the little pouch, I also have, in very Moira Rose style, I have a wig wall in my bedroom that has my wigs on it. So just keeping them.
Do you have them on
contained.
on foam heads?
They're not foam heads. They're like we mounted them to the wall, and they're like, it's a head shape that they're on.
The like plastic sort
Yeah.
of like crisscrossed
Yes.
head shape. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's maintenance. That is
Yeah.
taking care of them. The worst thing you can do, I know, is throwing them in a drawer or something. So
Yeah.
because
Most of them are. Some of them are kind of flat.
So wigs are actually my least favorite part of cosplay. I do not have time for wig styling at all. I think Ink, who we just saw, is like the wig that I've styled the most in recent memory. So I just sort of get wigs, like Shannon said, that are already very close to what they need to be. Or I get a curly wig and then I don't really have to do much, because then I just let the curls be the curls. And so I just sort of abuse them. And I feel bad about it.
Don't feel bad about it.
But I just sort of put them on my head, and then I throw them in the bag that they came in, and then they go in a tub under the bed, and that's like it.
Yeah, I have to do a lot of detangling of wigs usually after the con. So a good like wig detangler is important. Not anything will work. Not hair detangler won't really work as good. The wig detanglers, I think, have like silicone in them that helps the brushes go through them. a wood brush, so like a wire brush, or it's a brand called a wet brush.
Love
which
those.
is good for like if you have kind of curly hair or wavy hair. A wet brush is really great. It also works well for wigs, because if you brush a wig to try to detangle it with the wrong kind of brush, sometimes you can stretch the plastic to the point where then it like curls back like this, and then it gets all like bunched, and then it'll get mats on tangles on mats, and then you don't have a lot
Christmas
of solution.
ribbon, where you take Christmas ribbons and scissors and go whoop.
That's exactly what's happening. It's
Yep.
exactly what's happening, because you're stretching the fiber and it curls it.
Right.
So it'll get all like, I don't know. It's not quite a coil. It gets like
Right.
wiggly.
Yep.
So yeah, a good brush, a wig detangler, those headbands are a lifesaver.
So let's go with the same question for your makeup kit. Outside of the makeup, what are the important things in your makeup kit? Both at
Micellar
home
water.
and on the road, because really they're two different things. When you're first setting it up, creating it, that's one thing. When you're on the road in an actual cosplay, you have a small ditty bag or whatever with whatever's important for repair.
Yeah, I always have the micellar water because I don't like it's makeup. Like I love how it looks when it's done, but doing it and taking it off are such a grueling process for me. So I always make sure that I first of all get as much use out of it as I can, because I'm not doing it for a couple of weeks after that. But then I don't like the feel sensory wise. I don't like the feel of makeup on my face, or on my hands or skin. So once I'm done with a cosplay, I will use the micellar water to get most of it off. I like to have the micellar wipes as well to get any of the remains that I didn't get. Like I said before, I'll use the micellar water to do my eyes really well, because they tend to get irritated, and then I'll like wash my face really good. I'll put some hydrating lotion on, just to make sure that, because my skin is very sensitive and breaks out really easily. I get breakouts like anytime I do cosplay makeup, like a couple of days afterwards.
Me too.
Yeah, always
so bad.
so bad, so bad. So despite, I know they're gonna happen, I still will try and take care of my skin after it's off. Because I also don't like sleeping with remnants of it on, because just for sensory wise, it gives me a lot of sensory ick. It's worth it because it looks really cool, but got a lot of ick when it comes to that.
Yeah, skincare before and after, very important. It will determine how there are things you can do with primers and your kinds of foundation and how you apply it and stuff will determine how it lays on your face. But if your canvas is not very good to begin with, it's going to be a little bit of a struggle. I would say that high quality brushes are oftentimes more important than the actual product that
Cleaning
you're
them too.
using. Yes, cleaning them, because they are
So bad at that.
just cesspools of bacteria. But yeah, and I think the thing that I want to impart most importantly is that high quality does not mean high price point. Like we sort of
Yes.
said earlier, I use products that are $6, $4, sometimes even $3, depending on what it is. And it's the brushes that I have that allow me to really take lower price point makeup and do a good job with it. I mean, the makeup that I get at the low price point is also already good, but that's not true for every low price point makeup. And so if you're just starting out, I would say invest more in the tools, the brushes, the blenders, that kind of thing, than the actual product themselves. Because there's 1,000 makeup palettes out there, there's 1,000 types of lipstick out there, 1,000 foundations, but application is really, really important. And then actually being at the con, I only ever really prepare maybe lash glue and then more lipstick, because everything else in theory should not budge, but like those lashes and and lips are the two things that have the highest chance to pop or fade for me.
Yeah. A good setting spray. I agree with 100% with the brushes. If you're doing colored makeup, in my toolkit is actual paint brushes. I like to use actual paint brushes, high quality paint brushes, instead of makeup brushes to apply that type of makeup. I just find that it goes on easier, and I can do it in one go with a lot more consistency that way. Yeah. I don't have like a lot in my makeup tool bag that's consistent other than brushes and setting spray. The spirit gum remover and spirit gum, particularly for elf ears. We use it a lot for elf ears, and sometimes for like fake mustaches or eyebrows or whatever. So that's one that's not in your normal makeup bag that you would probably want to have if you're doing any sort of like ears or whatever. You can use lash glue if you want to for ears, and that should help them stay on. But yeah.
Nice. What do you think is for you personally, what is the trickiest part of the makeup, of doing makeup on the face? Is it the eyes? Is it the lips and mouth? Is it doing a good ombre or perfect blends?
Eyes.
And where should somebody new spend their time in learning it?
Eyes for me. I don't think to this day I've done the same eyeliner on both eyes. that is so, I've like done and redone and gotten so frustrated that I completely started over because I couldn't get the dang eyeliner to match. One eye always looks like it's like one wing is going that way and the other wing's going straight to my ear. You know, it just drives me nuts. Even with the stamps, I tried getting like the little stamps. I still couldn't stamp it. Anyway, so I would say like the tutorials are a great place to start. That's, you know, I sometimes don't have the patience to sit through a tutorial or the attention span to do that, but that is really where you should start, is look at other people who have done it and tried and true and tested and get their advice.
I think it depends on what you personally value in terms of, you know, what you deem the most important part of the makeup. For me, it's the eyes, and that's why I always start with the eyes, because if I have the eyes right, then I can build the face around it. Something that I use to keep my eyeliner pretty much equal is I use like makeup tape. Because I start with the eyes first, I put like a little thing of tape. It's just out of reach. I can't get it. But I guess you could also use Scotch tape if you don't have specifically for makeup. But I just put it here and here in the where I want the wing to go, and then it's just a matter of, you know, drawing the wing back into the eye and filling it out, and then you peel off the tape, and it's a sharp, like,
really sharp. I've been admiring it this whole time. It's so well done.
Thank you. Yeah, so Elf used to sell it regularly, and then I stopped seeing it in the stores, but I did get some online. So you could look up like Elf, like eyeliner tape or makeup tape, and you might be able to find it. And I actually cut the packet in half because I only need it to be so long. So that also extends the life of each little packet that I have to buy. So this one has already lasted me like 6 months, and it's not even halfway done.
Nice.
And so once I have the eyes right, I can do the face. And I just, because I have, most of the time I have a sharp line to work with, I can just beauty blend very carefully up to the line, and nothing gets like smudged or anything. And
so do you do a full eye before you do your foundation? Or do you do
Yes.
like your base concealer and then eye and then foundation?
So what I'll do is I'll do concealer and then pack on way too much setting powder
Underneath.
underneath to not only set the concealer but prepare for fallout of the eyeshadow. Because if you get eyeshadow fallout and you
I
have
do.
a really excessive amount of powder, when you wipe it away with the powder brush, it doesn't smudge on your face. It just goes with the excess
Nice.
setting powder. And then I put eyeshadow primer is actually very important. It will keep your
Yes.
eyeshadow from creasing where your eye naturally creases. And so I'll do the eyes, I'll do the liner, I'll do mascara, and then I'll do brows and face. And then at the very end, I do the lashes. And that's sort of how I build out my face.
Yeah, lashes are another thing that aren't always in somebody's makeup kit, but if you're doing cosplay, eyelashes are really helpful, particularly for photographing. They're really going to make a big difference in your photographs.
And definitely look up tutorials for those because it is
Yes.
a learning curve
It
for
really
sure.
is.
And that's also something I would say invest in is get high quality lashes because low quality lashes will be itchy and irritating and you might cry off your makeup, and just invest in the good lashes.
Yeah.
I think what I struggle with the most is contouring and adding natural tones back in once you have like a heavy foundation layer. So even if you're doing a tone like a normal skin tone, if when I do cosplay or when I do makeup for being in photographs, I tend to go a lot heavier on my foundation and it makes you very, very flat. And so then you have to add back in your natural contour, your natural coloring, or some coloring that looks like you have blood flow in your face. And same with elf ears. You want to do the same thing with ears. That's what makes them look natural, because the tips of your ears are kind of pink because they've got some blood flow. So you want to add like blush and color back into those features. That's what I find hard, is remembering like where does everything go and how much is too much, and balancing those types of contours with my natural face shape, because my face shape is it's pretty oval and soft. And so a lot of characters, especially comic and anime characters, are very like
Angular.
Sharp and high cheekboned, and the femme characters tend to be very like angular, and I find that difficult personally to get my face to look like that face.
What do you do when you're at a con and you see some makeup or hair that you don't understand how it was done? Like, it's so interesting and dramatic or whatever it is. Do you talk to the other cosplayers and try and learn from them and ask them
Oh, yes.
all their tricks?
Yeah. Fangirl out. Cosplayers love it.
Nice.
Yeah, it's
Or
actually how I
fanboy.
Yeah.
Or fan they them. Whatever you choose.
That's how I learned about the pantyhose trick for your fingers, because there was another Laudna when I actually was doing Imogen, but they had the blackened fingers, and I was like, how did you do that without like having, she's like, it's just pantyhose. And then I think she like spray painted it or something. I don't know, but I was like, that's amazing. And I was also looking for, like tattoo sleeves for Imogen's like lightning tattoos, because I didn't want to have to paint all that on. They didn't exist, or if they did, I didn't search long enough, but I did end up finding like herbal tea tattoos that like, or not herbal tea, no, herbal juice tattoos, herbal tea. And it went on like a regular temporary tattoo, but it stayed for like 2 weeks. So luckily I had spring break the week after that con, so that I wasn't walking around at school with with those tattoos on, but that was a cool trick to learn too.
Yeah.
That was another thing from my photos is we did Molly Mock, and Molly Mock has a giant tattoo. It goes like all the way down their neck and like kind of down their chest. And it's like a big colorful something. I think we ended up doing like a feather. But you can buy inkjet printer paper that makes temporary tattoos.
Cool.
And you can put that on, and then if you're doing colored skin like with Molly Mock, you can put the water paint over the top of it and you will still see it through. You just do have a little bit more water in that area and it will look like they are tattooed and they are still purple.
That's cool. That's really cool.
But makeup test, makeup test, makeup test.
Yes.
I can't say it enough. Test it out before, wear it a whole day. Go to the grocery store, purple. It'll be fun.
All right, so we're about to the end. I'm going to ask one last question, and it's the easiest or hardest one of the day. Final words of wisdom for somebody getting ready to do their first hair and makeup cosplay.
Don't be surprised if you hate it.
Yeah.
Because where I am now in my confidence level in my makeup application is years and years of practice. And not only practice, of studying my face shape and figuring out what works and why. And so if you're just getting into cosplay or just hair and makeup in general, you're going to buy products that don't work for your skin type. You're going to buy blush colors that don't work for your undertones. And you're just going to buy products that aren't what you wanted them to be. And so there is a lot of trial and tribulation despite the amount of resources that are available now. So don't beat yourself up too much if on the first try it doesn't turn out how you want it. You just have to keep working on it, keep studying, keep researching, and keep practicing.
In that same vein, I was very intimidated getting into the cosplay scene because I've seen some just incredible work. So I started simple. I got a long wig for Vex and I just loosely braided it, stuck a blue feather in it, and just did some really natural, just the natural makeup. And that was what a lot of previous cosplayers were doing. So I started, for me, what I thought was simple. So, I mean, if you want to start with Jester right off the bat, go for it. More power to you. Yes, amazing. But for me, for my comfort level, it was easier to start with lower prep. Didn't need as many pieces. And then I worked my way up from there and got braver and eventually tried fake blood. And it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think that you're probably going to be your own worst critic. Other people are not going to judge you as hard as you're judging yourself. So give yourself some grace and kind of enjoy the ride. I think it does take a bit to get used to wearing a different face and hair than you normally have for your daily life, because when you look at yourself, you don't feel it just looks odd because it's not normal to you. But that can be very empowering to play and feel like fully embodied in the character. So I just say give yourself some grace to just enjoy being present in the moment and having fun with it.
Yeah. Nice, good advice everywhere around. I want to thank you for being here tonight. I'm going to let everyone go around and say who you are, where they can find you. And if you can, after, I would love to get, you can send me a message with the products you mentioned. If you want to drop links, I'll drop links into the YouTube video so that I have that whole list. Be great for anyone to have. It would really, I think it would add a lot of value to that. So if you want to check out the YouTube video, it'll be up in about a week. Why don't we start with Shannon this time? Let you go. We'll start there.
Sure. Hi, friends. I'm Shannon, she, her. I am SRoby25 on all the socials except TikTok. I'm Shannon Roby on there. Paradise Productions is my home. I'm a community manager there as well as a cast member. We play every Monday night. We'd love to have you there. This has been so much fun. I love chatting about nerdy stuff like this. So thanks for a great conversation, everybody.
All right. Haley.
I'm Haley Sonavander. I'm Haley. My handle is Haley Sonavander most everywhere. You can see me play D&D. I'm a cast member on a channel called Border Kingdoms Adventures. They're actually streaming right now. So my lovely husband is subbed in as my Herringon Daisy. But you can check us out there. We play every other Sunday night, and it's a full group of female presenting people, which is really fun.
Very nice.
Oh, yeah.
And Warden Asteria.
I'm Warden Asteria, or Asteria if you're nasty. My pronouns are they, them. I do tabletop content, actual play content at Chance Encounters RPG on YouTube. I'm Warden Asteria on TikTok and Twitter. And I'm actually working on a new tabletop project, so go follow me on there to stay updated for when that's gonna debut sometime this year, hopefully this summer. But it was such a joy to talk to everyone, and see you guys next time.
All right.
Yay!
Well, I'm Scott. Thank you for joining us on Story Talk tonight. This will be up on YouTube very shortly, probably Friday. Have a good night. We'll catch you on the next episode in, I think, 2 weeks, not next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.